right. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Connor Walden. I'm the project manager here with Artifacts, and I've been with this team for a few years now, starting in 2024. And we are joining you from the Lowell Milken Family Foundation in Santa Monica, California. So I'd like to get started with a few introductions. I'm joined here with my teammates, Kate Rose and Katie Ward. And I'd love for them just to quickly introduce themselves. So, Kate, we can start with you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate Rose. I'm the program coordinator. We're here in Santa Monica, and we're so excited to be here tonight and tell you more about our brand new summer competition. So, super exciting. It's our first info session, first year with the competition, and we can't wait to tell you more about it. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie. I'm a program assistant that helps out from time to time with Artifact, and I'm really excited to see this new summer adventure take off.
Amazing. And who was not here with us today is our fearless leader, Tony Guglielmo, our executive director. And also on our team is the founder of Artifacts and the Lowell Milken Center for Unsung Heroes, Mr. Lowell Milken, whose vision for strengthening communities through education and innovation has made this program possible. So we're very grateful for Mr. Lowell Milken and all that he does for our team. So let's get started. If everybody just wants to raise their hand, we just wanted to know who is excited about participating in the summer competition. All right, amazing. Lots of interest. And as you can see, we also just started a poll. So if you can just take a moment, we have a few quick questions for y'all just to kind of see who's here today. And that way we can kind of get a sense of who's joining. Great. So let's see here. We're asking, are you a student or educator? It looks like about 68% students, 26% classroom teachers. Have you participated in the artifact competition? It's 50-50. That's great. We have half of the group has participated, half of it has not. That's great. We just have a few more seconds to finish the poll. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, so we're looking at the results now. Classroom teacher, we have 6 out of the group, 13 students and 3 other. So that's great. We have a lot of students here for our first new summer art competition, and greetings to the classroom teachers as well to learn about this new program. And then to all the folks who are coming back, welcome back to Artifact. We're so excited to share this new competition with you. And then to those who have not participated, we're so excited to introduce you to our unsung heroes. The thing that excites you most, it looks like about half of you are interested in the art making, the other half, the unsung hero stories. We have one person who said the prizes. That's also very exciting. We are of course, excited about the prizes as well. Okay, awesome. Well, I'll just do a quick recap of what we'll be doing today. So we're going to talk about Artifact and the Unsung Heroes introduction, show you a few artworks about these unsung heroes, tell you about our Innovation Generation new summer art competition. And we have a few previous student winners, as well as Arteffact ambassadors who are joining our call today. And we're so excited to hear from them. They'll be later on. And then finally, we'll share some resources and have a chance to do Q&A. So we will have time for questions at the end of the call, but if you want to go ahead and put your questions in the chats, Kate and Katie will be paying attention to those, and we can answer those at the end. And if important, we can answer them at the time too. But we'd love to just start collecting those questions that you have as we go along. And then finally, you will receive a copy of this deck, as well as a video file of this session recording tomorrow. And we'll also be including a brief survey at the end of this call, just to hear a little bit more about how you found out about artifacts. So, okay, with that, we'll get started with our mission with Artifact. So, by way of an overview, Artifact invites educators and their students to explore the inspiring and diverse stories of the Lowell Milken Center Unsung Heroes and their invaluable lessons as role models from history through the visual arts. And ARTEFFECT is an expanding initiative that includes 2 visual art competitions for middle school and high school students. We have professional development for K through 12 educators, and we also have exhibitions of student artworks. But today we will be focused on the brand new ARTEFFECT Summer Art Competition. It's our first year doing this. We're so excited to be sharing this with you all. Normally we've had our annual competition that ends in April, but we decided to try this out for the first year and have this summer competition. We thought that this would be a really great opportunity for those students who wanted to have a little bit of a shorter time window to kind of focus on just their heroes and their artworks. And so with that, we also focused on only grades 9 through 12 students that will be participating. And an important note is that this includes rising freshmen and graduating seniors who are eligible for this competition. So I'll repeat that. Grades 9 through 12, and that includes rising freshmen and graduating seniors. So it's still 5 years worth of students that can apply. And so we're very excited to be able to include as many as we can this summer with this competition. Submissions are due September 15th. Your artworks and impact statements that you're working on, these will be focused on our innovation generation heroes, which I'll talk about here in a second, but we're focusing primarily on unsung heroes who are innovators, researchers, and inventors for this competition. And then finally, we have over $20,000 in prizes for this juried competition, emphasizing creative interpretation and aesthetics in that jury process. So let's talk a little bit more about these unsung heroes that we'll be exploring together through the summer art competition. So ARTEFFECT is focused on exploring unsung heroes from history as role models. These are individuals whose stories are not commonly known, who demonstrated altruistic qualities such as courage, compassion, sacrifice, conviction, and they had a positive impact on the course of history. Now, ARTEFFECT has a list, an expanding list of unsung heroes of currently over 150 individuals. And these individuals span from ancient to modern times across varied disciplines and fields, including STEAM, civil rights, social justice, wartime and Holocaust unsung heroes. But as I mentioned before, for this new summer competition, we will be focusing on 43 unsung heroes who were innovators, researchers, and inventors. We are posting a link in the chat, and this is a list of our downloadable directory of those heroes that you can check out. We really hope that you can take a look at those, see which heroes resonate with you, and take some time to really discover these incredible stories of unsung heroes that have helped create innovation over the course of history. And so students will choose one of these individuals in order to create their artworks. One thing we like to think about with these unsung heroes is them as role models. We want to give students someone that they can look up to, hence the role model. And we use this guiding vision from our founder, Lowell Milken, that says one person has the power to make a positive and profound difference in the lives of others. And so we like to seek that out through the art making itself, being able to celebrate these unsung hero stories. And we like to think of these young artists, such as yourselves, as that person who can become a role model themselves one day. And this is our word wheel that we use as a way to understand heroic traits, heroic actions of these unsung heroes, as well as looking some of their visions and values that they hold and bring to life through their impact and legacy. So we had that one student who was interested in the prizes. I'm sure there were more that were interested in prizes. You can only pick one in the poll, but we're so excited to share about these amazing prizes for our 2026 Summer Art Competition. We have our typical top awards with the grand prize of $3,000, Best in Show, first place and second place. We have certificates of excellence of $750. And then we have our normal spotlight prize. Every competition cycle, we have a new spotlight prize. This is a way to expand our collection and the ways that students are exploring these unsung hero stories. So we have 2 new spotlight prizes this year, and I'd like to share those with you. So the Style Spotlight Prize for this year is for data visualization. And so this is for artworks that incorporate charts, graphs, maps, formulas, schematics, and other forms of data visualization. And we have this previous winner, The Beauty of Genius by Anne Jumper, to show that she has some of the schematics of her incredible frequency hopping patents that she developed. Even though she was this famous actress, she was lesser known, Hedy Lamarr, for her innovations and inventions that eventually led to Wi-Fi. So you can kind of see that schematic in the background. So artworks that incorporate that will be considered for the data visualization style spotlight prize. And then we have our media spotlight prize, which has the fun word polyptych. And so this could be diptychs, triptychs, polyptychs. And what that basically means is that your artwork spans across multiple panels, creating a cohesive narrative. So for example, in this piece by Chloe Chen, Beneath the Surface about unsung hero Isabella Abbott, you can see in the middle of the piece there's a line, and that's because this is actually two wood panels that create the full piece. We think this is a really exciting way for students to explore panels as well as being able to go larger scale. So we really encourage students this year to consider try making your art on multiple panels to create larger style, and you will then be considered for the Media Spotlight Prize as well. And so speaking of, we just have had so much participation in the last decade with the ARTEFFECT competitions, and especially this last year, we were so excited to be able to share over 40 prizes for the ARTEFFECT annual competition. And we're so excited to be able to have even more participation through the summer competition and have even more awards given out in this one year of 2026. So you can kind of see some of our examples of the 2026 winners on this slide. And great. Well, I'm going to hand it off to Kate, who will tell you a little bit more about how we take an unsung hero story and how you can turn that into a celebrated artwork through visual art.
Yeah, thank you so much, Connor. So this is one of our unsung heroes who's an innovator on our summer competition directory. This is Dr. Sylvia Earle, and she is an innovator in the field of marine biology. She created human piloted technology to reach the deep sea. She led a team of aquanauts in the 70s of all women, and she broke records in solo diving. So all around, she's really an innovator who's passionate about her field in marine biology. And we actually want to show you how some students have interpreted and translated her story into different artworks. So we can go to the next slide. There we go. So here are two different examples. So you'll see on the left, this artwork, A Dive Through Reality, really showcases there's two different layers. So you can see in the top layer, this student is emphasizing the pollution in the ocean with these darker colors. And then the bottom layer, we have this blue and green algae and seaweed. So representing lower layers in the ocean and the cleaner parts of it that Dr. Sylvia Earle fought to clean and also deep dive research access these parts of the ocean. And then on the right side, we have a digital artwork, which is very different than this nice ceramic sculpture I just talked about. So we do really encourage different mediums in the competition, and here are just two examples of those. So in this digital artwork, we have two versions of Dr. Sylvia Earle, one where she's older, kind of reminiscing on her lifetime of being in the ocean and diving, and you can see her there on the right side swimming with the sharks, swimming in her element. So these are two really beautiful and very different interpretations of Sylvia's story. All right, and next we have Norman Borlaug. So Norman Borlaug was an agricultural innovator, and he is known as the father of the Green Revolution. He engineered different types of wheat that saved over 1 billion people from starvation. So he used his background in science and biology to create this version of wheat that saved many people's lives and gave them access to clean food. And here we see, once again, two very different interpretations of this innovator. So on the left, we have this beautiful acrylic painting of Norman Borlaug, and we see him in the background really researching, getting into the science of how he can create these types of wheat. And then on the right side, we see him actually holding the type of wheat, dissecting it, analyzing it, and we see these beautiful newspapers kind of blowing in the wind behind him that show different charts and elements that he created in order to come to this discovery. And then on the right side, we have this lovely graphite work on paper. And this kind of shows him with a halo around him. And we also see the wheat field below and his hands holding the wheat on the right side. So once again, these students interpreted it very differently in color and style, but both of them show very beautifully his story and his passion for exploring wheat and saving the lives of many people. So these are just two examples of two different unsung heroes, but Connor's going to introduce you to a third one.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate. Yeah, and our last one we wanted to share with you is Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi, who is the father of algebra and the grandfather of computer science. And we love to show him because we have so many different interpretations of his legacy by all these different artists over the years. So on the left, we have this deconstructed book that was created by a middle schooler that kind of shows him as like translating the works, and then over the course of time, the pages being turned into the computers that were developed using these algorithms that he helped discover the formulas for. In the middle, we have an example actually of data visualization. We have him in the House of Wisdom sharing the completing the square formula created by Moheb Asimi, showing in this watercolor piece the revelation of this algebra formula. And then on the right, we have a digital piece by Kevin Chen, An Echo Through Time, which is also an example of data visualization. This digital piece that shows Muhammad with his almost like cosmic knowledge and wisdom that he's bringing to us through his legacy. Great. And so as we look to the actual competition and the logistics, we have these 5 steps to participate. So first is choosing your unsung hero. Second is reviewing the judging rubric. The third is creating your artwork. And fourth is writing your impact statement. Fifth is entering your project. So we've already talked about choosing your unsung hero. Next, we'd like to show the judging rubric that you have. This is going to be placed in the chat. It's also available on our summer competition webpage. But this shows you the 3 different things our jurors will be looking at when they're looking at your artwork. We have creative interpretation, which is how a student tells the story of the unsung hero. We have aesthetic value, which is also worth 40%. And this is not just how it looks, but also how the student is using their materials. And then third is the impact statement, which is making sure that the essay is 500 to 1,000 words and is addressing all the prompt questions, which we have this other resource regarding the impact statement here, which has all of the questions that we'd like you to respond to when creating your artwork through this impact statement. So we want you to introduce your unsung hero, discussing your unsung hero's impact, describing your artistic vision and process, and finally sharing the impact of your artwork. And then we also ask if you have any research references as well as research images. We would love for you to include those as well, just so we know where you're getting your information to make sure it's as historically accurate as possible. Great. And then finally, we have this submission guide that we have a link to here that we'll be placing in the chats. This is a step-by-step submission guide that will take you through beginning to end how to submit to the competition. It helps you make sure you know how to set up your submittable accounts, which is the submission platform that we use. And so in order to submit to the ARTEFFECT competition, you will create an account through Submittable. You'll have to verify your email accounts. And then finally, we encourage students when they're submitting to try to plan for 30 minutes in order to submit. And we especially encourage students to apply in advance. We recommend 5 days in advance just to make sure, in case you have any difficulties, you can email our team. We're on call to make sure we can answer any questions as quickly as we can to make sure everything runs smoothly for you. Great. Well, with that, we're going to move to our guest speakers, and we are so excited to welcome. Is Grace Zhang here? Is Grace on the call? All right, it looks like we'll come back to her. So Grace Lee, we're gonna start with you. So if you can please unmute yourself and show your video. We're so excited to have you join us today.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, amazing. Well, can you introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Grace, and I am from Seattle in Washington State. I'll be a rising junior next year, which means that I'll be going into 11th grade in the fall. And I won the Art Effect Certificate of Excellence in 2025, as well as earlier this year in 2026.
Yes, amazing. Well, we're so happy to have a repeat winner here with us today. Yeah, we'd love to just hear about your experience with Artifacts. So my first question for you is, how did you choose your unsung hero?
So I began by looking through the list of various heroes, just kind of reading briefly about each of them, and sort of gaining a basic understanding of their story. And once I found one that really resonated with me, I did a deeper dive by looking at other online sources. And there was a lot of good YouTube like documentary types that I found really helpful as well.
Perfect. Yeah, and what was it like for you to win an award and then decide to submit again? What made you want to be a part of the Artifact competition 2 years in a row?
Yeah, so I actually submitted one time before that as well. Unfortunately, I didn't win an award, but I decided to submit again just because I truly loved the process of learning about this unsung hero and creating a piece to honor them. I feel like truly like no hero is the same and their stories are so unique. So there's always something new to learn. And I also found that by participating in the competition, I was also gaining a lot of skills that I found sort of played into school and other aspects of my life. It wasn't like, for example, one example would be like writing the essay. Not only was I learning how to do informational writing, but I was also doing a lot of reflective writing as well, which I think is always great as a life skill. So, yeah.
Yeah, oh, I love to hear your determination and coming back every year and then succeeding with that tenacity. Yes, that's so exciting to hear. And so on the screen right now, we can see that one of your artworks is on display at MCAD, which is the Milken Center for Advancing the American Dream in Washington, D.C. And that's you in front of the piece. What was it like to see your artwork on display in a museum?
It was such a surreal experience. I think I would have never imagined that one of my pieces would be in such a beautiful museum, especially as a high school student. So I'm just so honored to, be in such um, to have my artwork honored in such a historic area alongside so many other talented young artists. And I think for me, it really showed that the impact that I'm making by participating in Artifact is so real. I think by having my artwork shared with so many people, it in a sense, it's making these unsung hero stories more known and less unsung. So for me, it felt really empowering.
Oh, that's so touching. I love to hear that. Yes, we like strive for these unsung hero stories to be celebrated, but it's such a great chance to celebrate you as well as the young artist. So we were so delighted to have you in the gallery this summer and getting to experience that. Well, I just wanted to show your other piece. This is your 2026 award-winning artwork. And our last question for you is, do you have any tips for other young artists that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I would say that if you're thinking about participating in the competition, which you totally should, I would highly recommend starting early or like as early as you can. Um, I think really taking the time to thoughtfully plan your ideas, work on your artwork, and write your impact statement really does pay off. And it's much better than sort of stressing at the last moment, trying to get it in right before the deadline. So yeah, I would highly recommend starting as early as you can. That is to say, you start ASAP because um, there is like about a month left, which would be more than enough time, I think.
Yes, perfectly. So appreciate that advice for our other young artists that are going to be submitting this year. As you mentioned, we still have about 6 weeks left to be working on the artwork. So, well, where are you now? Where are you, Grace?
I am still on summer break, really enjoying my summer. I've actually been working on my submission to the summer competition, which has been so much fun. And yeah, it's such a great summer project, truly.
Yes, well, so amazing. Good luck working on your piece this summer. We're so excited to see it and the new summer competition. So, thank you so much, Grace.
Thank you so much.
All right, and as we mentioned with Grace, we do have a museum gallery that we show our student winners at the Milken Center for Advancing the American Dream in Washington, D.C. It's just down the street from the White House. You can kind of see it in this picture here. But so if you're in D.C. and you want to go check it out, go see MCAD. We're on the fifth floor, and we have over 40 artworks from previous winners there, including some from this last year, including Grace's. So. It's just so you know that this is a place, if you win in the summer competition, you will also be considered for future curating opportunities here at this space. So we love getting to share the unsung hero stories as well as celebrating these young artists through our exhibitions. Great. Well, we're going to have our Artifact ambassadors now speak and share a little bit about their experience with the Artifact competition. So, Dr. Samantha Fields, we'll have you start for us.
Hello, I am Dr. Samantha Fields, and I serve as the lead art teacher for the Dougherty County School System, which is deep in South Georgia. Connor, would you like me to just go ahead, or you want to ask questions? Okay.
Yeah, no, great. Yeah, we just love to hear about your experience. Yeah, you're
Got
great.
it. Okay, so my experience with the program, I actually started out with my AP students and it was a hit. They really loved it. With AP, of course, the students have to have an investigation question, and basically Artifact lays that out for them already. So those things are there. They have who they're going to investigate. They know who they are, what they are doing. So it gives them like a fresh start, and they don't have to start with a clean slate. So it was interesting for them to go through and read about all the heroes and really decide who they relate to most out of the list. I can say one of the things that was so funny to me, the other students who were not in AP courses were like, hey, what are they doing? What is that? They started reading about the heroes and they asked like, hey, we know this is an AP project, but are we able to participate? So I had to open it up to my other courses because they were a little jealous and they wanted to participate in the program as well. One of the things I can say about the heroes and their relation to the students, their investigation of the heroes really brings I guess a relation to the students, and it brings them to life. So there's this running joke in my classroom, and the students actually refer to their pieces as the hero's name. So as you can see here, my student from 2024, Acelia Roberts, she did Jean Shoemaker, and it was her joke. I don't know if you guys know from social media, there's it's Jean in them. So they actually relate to their pieces and call them by their name. So there was an instance where we displayed this in town, and we could not remember at that point where we displayed it. And the whole joke at the school was like, "Where's Jean?" So we posted missing posters to find Jean, and we actually found him. But the students, after researching and investigating these heroes, they really start to connect with them, and they become their person. So for Acelia, she was so attached, and Gene was her guy. So for her, there was like a space missing. I could not find Gene. Where is he? So I really suggest for teachers as well as students to participate in these activities. Not only, are you brushing up on your artistic skills, but definitely the writing, just the investigation and the research in itself. It all is just so wholesome to get all of those things in one activity.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Samantha, for sharing about that. The excitement of your students to want to participate. And then also I love that they're like identifying with these heroes and it's like, where's Jean?
Yeah,
That's so sweet.
it's funny.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Samantha. Really appreciate your time.
No problem.
And we love getting to celebrate your finalists here, Celia Roberts, sorry.
It's okay.
So yeah, thank you. Well, next we have 2025-26 Artifact Ambassador Gayle Trueblood. If you'd be able to unmute and show your screen, we'd love to hear from you about your experience with
Yeah,
Artifact.
thank you. Yes, my name is Gayle Trueblood, and I am from Lima, Ohio, where, and of course, my dog every time on a meeting is right in my face. Um, and I teach high school art. I am the 3D person who does ceramics, sculpture, jewelry, fashion, all of that. And I've been teaching for about 28 years, so I'll start that up again here in a couple weeks. But this past year was my very first time entering into the competition, which was all new to me, but also I was an ambassador at the same time. So a lot of incredible things happening all at once, which was amazing. And I think for me, it felt of like a very natural transition. I had to start it a little later in the year. So because of that, like I would agree with Grace that you need to start as early as possible, get your students really motivated and give them plenty of time to really investigate and find their way with their hero. But this year, obviously, I have different goals and aspirations and inspiration because we just were in DC and got to visit the museum, which was remarkable. And Grace, we got to see your work, so congratulations on that. But essentially, taking you through the steps of how I go with my students, I've always given my students their own voice to their work. So regardless of the technique that we're working on, it's very individual to the student. So this was almost a natural progression for them to do the research, to find their hero, make that connection, and then really it becomes about how you problem solve the medium. So because I do sculpture, ceramics, jewelry, fashion, the medium is sometimes the challenge. So like, how do you take ceramics, which requires patience and structure and physical intention, and then ask these questions like, how do you sculpt resilience and how do you carve courage into wet clay or use glazes to convey hope? And so, but these led us to like some really incredible conversations around these heroes. And so, what was also pretty great is that watching my students, many of them chose some of the same heroes, but then watching their interpretation of what that meant was really fascinating for me to watch that unfold. And then just watching the symbolic, sculptural storytelling, and was just rewarding, I think, for both the students and for myself. And this year, my goal is that some of these, you'll see these are like just ceramic plates that we did, which the kids did a beautiful job with. Some of my advanced students did do all 3D in the round sculptural pieces. So we're going to lean in more towards that this year, which I can't wait to see their ideas as we get back to school. And then, finally, when it came to their impact statement, this was just a whole nother deeper transformation for them, where they're reflecting on what that means, how they connect to the hero, and just everything kind of comes full circle for them. And I would agree, they really do become very connected to the work. Where I think at first, they see the list and they're unsure about who they might choose, but then it becomes personal because of just, a connective bridge that they have with, just even if they're interested in science and then they dive a little bit deeper into what that means. So they love the site and being able to really filter and find their heroes that way. So it was really powerful. I can't wait to do it again this year. I always have repeat students. Like I have a lot of students that if they have me as a freshman and sophomore, juniors, by the time they're juniors and seniors, they can take my class multiple times so they can go back to back semesters. So I know that they're already going to be talking about this as soon as we get back to school.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Gail, for kind of going through that whole process for our students as well as our educators working with students, helping students do their research, select their unsung heroes, creating those artworks, focusing on the medium that they're working with, and then trying to translate that into the impact statement. So thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. Well, amazing. And next, we have our 2024-25 Artifact Ambassador, as well as the 2025-2026 Artifact Mentor, Matt Young, who's joining us. And Matt, I'd love to hear from your perspective, what is it like to have a summer competition after all these years of having an annual competition? Love to just hear what you think. Oh, I think Matt, it looks like you're muted.
All right,
We're
we'll
gonna
try
start.
that again.
There we go.
All right. Thanks, Connor. Yeah, kind of like Samantha, I ran into you guys in 2015. So I've been doing this competition for a long time and had a couple winners. What's interesting about the summer, a lot of things have happened with Artifact over the years, which is a testament to you guys to show how you're always constantly growing and improving. Because I had to do it with my AP kids, even though I'm mainly a 3D teacher. So like Gail had also mentioned over the last couple of years, you guys opening up to the 3D realm has opened up a whole new world of possibilities for my students and I, whereas before it was very, for me at least in particular, only an AP class. And then the other interesting part, again, as you guys begin to grow and notice the needs of students, is we have these, kind of summer art experiences with our National Honor Societies and students that just come in for some studio time. So now we can work towards a more directed experience to kind of get them going with the art with the heroes starting in the summer. So I'm kind of saddened as I'm winding down my teaching career, but we're bringing on a couple new art teachers to our district this year. So hopefully I will be able to instill the same love that I have for the program with our young teachers. And like I said, give us a little direction, or at least a direction for the younger teachers to follow um, in the summer so the students can have something to look forward to. I love the program so much. This almost gives us like a double opportunity to work with the program, kind of like a beginning of the year and the end of the year one. And that would have been my only complaint about the program is you kind of work on this one thing all year, and then at the end of the year, you got your kind of one shot. And now we can give kids something to look forward to over the summer so they can kind of get a double shot at the work. I was amazed to see Grace had done a couple of those things. I usually can just get a one shot deal with my students. So congratulations to Grace. And like Gail said, I had a chance to visit MCAD this summer as well. And it's an amazing, beautiful space if any of you guys can go see it. So yeah, I'm so glad the program continues to expand because, like I said, since 2015, I've been a believer, and then you guys blessed me by allowing me to continue my role as a mentor. So, thanks.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Matt. Yeah, it's good to know that the summer competition offers more for people to discover these unsung heroes, not just for students, but also for educators. And I think, the submission deadline being September 15th also has a little bit of a chance for teachers to introduce their students a little bit of an intro as well at the beginning of the year. So yeah, it's just so exciting to have you all here. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. And I think Grace Zhang is now here. So we'd love to hear from one more student. So Grace, we'd love to have you introduce yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi, my name is Grace Zhang. I'm from Jericho, New York, and I'm a rising sophomore, and I've won two Artifact Awards so far. My first was um, I won two Artifact Awards so far. My first award was the middle school second place in 2025, and my second and most recent award was the Spotlight Award in 2026.
Okay, yes, amazing. We have another multiple awardee on the call today, Grace. We're so happy that you're here. I'd love to just hear about this piece that's on the screen right now by unsung hero Maurice Hilleman. Can you tell us how you chose him to be your unsung hero for this project?
I chose Maurice Hillman as my unsung hero. Um, my process of choosing unsung heroes usually starts with me simply just like going through the list and clicking on names that pop out to me. This year specifically, I had the idea that I wanted to do someone related to biology, medicine, or anything science because I'm actually surprisingly into science and I'm interested in going to medicine. So this year I specifically looked at all the medicinal related heroes, and he really popped out to me because he first of all had an absurdly large amount of like impact, like in comparison to the appreciation for him. And I really admired the way he was able to spread love and appreciate and compassion through his medicinal work.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that you talked about your interest in science. We have a lot of people participating in this competition, and thankfully we have a lot of STEAM heroes, and especially for the summer competition, we're really excited for students who are interested in that STEAM integration to be able to really focus on those scientific qualities in their unsung heroes legacies. So, could you tell us how you told Maurice Hillman's story through your artwork?
As you can see in my artwork, I have a pretty big contrast between the bottom and the top of the artwork. So the top one, I want to like portray more of the emotions that he was able to spread, such as like the warmth of the yellow. I really want to portray like the love and compassion he spread. And the bottom part was more like representative of his science works. For example, I have images of his MMR vaccine, along with like examples of other vaccines he created. And I also included some like awards that he won because I wanted to like represent his story properly. Um, Something that might pop out is the phoenix I painted. I really was thinking about the symbolism of vaccines in themselves, and I appreciate how vaccines are often created from the disease themselves. And I like the idea of creating something helpful from something that could be harmful to most people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I love being able to have your artwork up here to show both the symbolism of the phoenix as well as some physical objects that were a part of his legacy and his story, such as this MMR vaccine. Just one more question for you. Do you have any tips for other young artists that you'd like to share? I'm going to put your other winning artwork up here from 2025. So yes, we'd love to hear a little bit more about your tips for young artists.
Okay, so starting off, I feel like some obviously the visual like skill is important, but I feel like something that's often overlooked is the symbolism and deeper meaning behind artwork. For example, I really like incorporating, at least in these two, I like incorporating like birds as ways to symbolize the impacts that these people did. For example, for this painting, I used doves because she symbolized freedom and she really helped people in the civil rights movement. And for example, for Morris Hillman, I of course used a phoenix, which represents like ferocity. And both of these like symbolic elements in my artwork, I feel like really help add a bit of depth and meaning behind it and make it less like flat when you look at it. So you can like better, it's like something more interesting to look at and appreciate, and you can actually have like a thought process behind it. So that's something I think that's really overlooked. Another thing is that I feel like something you create really has to be something you enjoy and love. I feel like a lot of people create art just for other people to see it, and uh, I feel like art like takes on a different meaning if you actually appreciate what you make instead of making it for an audience to see. So those are two tips I think should be known.
Oh my gosh, no, thank you so much. Those are wonderful tips. Yeah, for the young artist trying to figure out how they want to tell the story in new and innovative ways and with symbolism, but also to really connect with those stories. So, Grace, we just thank you so much for speaking with us today, and thank you.
Thanks.
Great. And if we can all just say a quick round of applause for all of our guests, just thank you so much, Grace, Gayle, Matt, Samantha, and Grace for your time and experience with Artifact today. All right, so before we get to the question and answers section, we just wanted to share a few of our resources as you begin your process with the summer art competition. I'm actually going to go to our website really quick just to show you what it looks like to be on the summer competition webpage. So on our website, arteffectlmc.com, if you go to competition and then the summer, you'll see we have this webpage. This has all the information you need to know when applying and getting ready for your submission. We have overview, the awards, the rules, the enter page, and the resources. I just wanted to show you really quick the rules. This has our eligibility, FAQ, and then also our stance on artificial intelligence, which is that we don't, for now, we say that we don't want AI to be used at any point in your process. And then as College Board works on their AI usage kind of policy, will be working along that as well. But for now, for this competition, we're just saying no AI. And then finally, we have our steps to participate here that we mentioned earlier. And then finally, this is where you enter your project and you can click this button to submit your project, and this will take you to our submittable page. And then from here, we also wanted to show you, or you choose your unsung hero. This will take you to the Unsung Heroes Innovation Generation Directory, which we also included that link in the chat. But you can come here and you can look through kind of like a photo directory of all 43 heroes that we have that you can choose from. If you click into them, you will be able to learn a little bit about them. We have a biography, we have their image, we have as well as some references and materials that you can work from. But yeah, so that's our resources that are available for you on our website. And then we're going to move to our question and answers. So does anybody have any questions? If you would like to share, please raise your hand and we'll call on you, and then we'd love to hear your question. You can also put your questions in the chats and we'll try and answer those. And then also, if you happen to have questions for our students or educators, specifically, we can also direct those questions to them. So any questions? Kate or Katie, did you see any questions as well that we can answer? Okay, I see one question here in the chat. The question is there a registration fee? And no, that is free to apply to this competition. There's no registration fee at all. And then you said, is there a registration date? Yes, so you must submit by September 15th by 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. And that's on our website as well as on our poster and other downloadable materials. Thank you for your question. All right, I see a question for both Graces. So Grace Zhang or Grace Lee, if you're willing to answer. Someone is asking, how does this competition help with your college admissions?
Yeah, I can jump in to start. So I kind of touched on this before, but in the impact statement itself, you're doing a lot of reflective writing. There's a section that specifically asks like how your unsung hero story kind of changed your outlook on life or your decisions moving forward. And I think that sort of reflective writing skill is something that you're going to need to do when you're writing your personal statement for college applications, which is always like a very important skill to build early, I would say. And then aside from that, the awards, of course, that's definitely something I'll be including on my resume as well.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you,
jump in
Grace.
now. I agree with what Grace said. Definitely the awards help a lot with resumes, and the creating of the impact statement is really like gives you a lot of training for the future, I guess. Another thing that could be considered is that it like the competition lets you research one thing in particular, and this could be helpful to like future opportunities where you have to research specific things. But otherwise, I feel like if you're doing this competition, you should be like aiming to do this for your own benefit and not for colleges. Like you should be doing this because you love it and not specifically only for college.
Yes, thank you both for your answers to that question. Those were such great answers and very helpful. And I hope the person who asked that question that's helpful for you. Somebody asked if you can win multiple prizes. So we have an FAQs that speaks to this directly, but the answer is no. You can only win one prize per competition. Everybody who submits is available to win any of the top prizes. But then only if you check the box for the Spotlight Prize will you be considered for the Spotlight Prize. And you can only win either the Spotlight Prize or a top award or a certificate of excellence. All right. Let's see. What other questions? Katie or Kate, can you call one out for me? I'd love to answer some of these.
I got a message asking if people can use 3D printers.
That is an excellent question. And yes, if you have if you have access to a 3D printer and that's a part of your process, you're more than welcome to use that technology. I actually have one of my best friends here makes casts from 3D printers. So, there are other ways to go from the PVA to other materials as well. So please be creative and innovative with how you want to use your media. Thank you. All right. Any other questions that y'all see?
Yeah, we have someone who asked, where do we submit our work and do we have to send confirmation email about which unsung hero we chose?
All right. So the first part was where do you submit? And so as I showed on the website, there's the enter button. You can also select from the top. There's an enter page, and that'll get you to our submittable platform and where you will create an account. You'll have to verify your email, and then you can submit through there. And then, Kate, what was the other part of that question?
I think it would be great if you can just clarify where they choose their unsung hero and how they choose it using the list.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So for this competition specifically, you must choose one of the 43 unsung heroes on the Innovation Generation directory. For the annual competition, you're able to put in requests for unsung heroes, but for this competition specifically, you need to choose one of the 43 that we have pre-selected. And then it actually reminded me, when you submit to the competition, you will get a confirmation email, and that actually will include a certificate of participation download that you'll be able to print just to celebrate the accomplishments, because it's truly an accomplishment into itself to be able to create an artwork, write an impact statement, and submit all for this competition. So definitely wanted to make sure you got to hear about that as well. Any other questions that y'all see?
Yes, someone asked, where do we submit the progress photos? Is it a part of the submission page? And I'm going to go ahead and answer this because I have the answer right in front of me, actually. So for the summer competition, we do encourage in-process photos of you making your artwork. This is on the summer competition page under the steps to participate. So we do ask you to document your process and upload at least 3 photos showing your process and sketches, things like that. And it is a part of the submission page. So when you make an account on Submittable and are filling that out, it will be an option under submitting photos of your artwork. There will be space for you to submit multiple photos of your submission and your final artwork.
Perfect. Thank you for answering that, Kate. So I see a timeline question. So this timeline is included on the summer competition page. It'll tell you when the submissions are open, when they're due, the finalists announced, and the winners are announced. So the finalists will be announced on Wednesday, September 30th, 2026, and the winners will be announced on Monday, October 19th, 2026. So, and again, that is on the summer competition page for future reference, if you need to get that information again. All right, we got time maybe for one more question. Was there anything else, Katie or Kate, that you saw in here? Let's scroll through the chat here. Oh, that's right. You had mentioned someone had mentioned what kind of format the impact statement needs to be in. We don't require MLA or APA or Chicago format. Whatever works for you. Whatever your school uses would be preferable, just so there's a little bit of a standard, but we don't, it doesn't have to be anything in particular. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you all so much for being here, for taking your time to learn about the summer art competition, the Innovation Generation. We have our email on here, so if you want to email us any other specific questions that you may have, please write this email down or take it from the chat. We're always able to answer from our email. We're also going to put a brief 1-minute survey in the chats. If you could take a moment just to fill that out, it really helps us improve on these events in the future. Um, yeah, and I think we're gonna unmute everybody and have a chance to all say a collective goodbye. But before we do that, just another big thank you to Grace, Samantha, Gayle, and Matt for speaking about your experience today, and thank you to my team, Kate and Katie, for making this happen today. So we're going to now unmute ourselves and say a collective goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everyone.
Everyone.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you,
Thank you so
everybody.
much.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
You.